Almost 2/3 of our planet Earth consist of water. Various types of scenery make up the remaining third. A large part of the landmass is covered by forests, and this is where the oldest building material grows. Wood is used for numerous applications, as a fuel, a building material, to provide decorations, or as an artistic material. Probably the most refined type of wood workmanship is when musical sounds are produced by this unique natural material. Experienced craftsmen make bows for stringed instruments from the wood obtained from giant tropical trees, for example. The Falkland region is located in the southwest of the Free State of Saxony. The area has plenty of forests, idyllic villages, bridges with huge spans and large reservoirs, and a very special type of craftsmanship. Skilled master craftsmen have been making bows for stringed instruments in the Upper Falkland area for more than 200 years. One of these master workshops, which helps maintain the good reputation of Falkland bow making, is that of master bowmaker STEFFEN Kuhnla in Hohendorf near Bad Brambach. STEFFEN Kuhnla received his Master Craftsman's diploma in 1988 and opened his own master workshops in Hohendorf 1 year later. Wood is required first of all to make a master craftsman bow. Only the finest quality Pernambuco wood, which has been stored for years, is used. The wood is sometimes kept for up to 50 years. Kuhnla purchased this wood from old bow makers. The craftsman can recognize from the structure and sound of the wood whether it has any knots or cracks, whether the fibers run straight and the surface is even. If the wood passes these tests, it is suitable for a bow. All the bows at the Kuhnla Master Craftsman workshops are made by hand. First of all, he saws a rough cut for the bow stick from the plank. Then the bow stick can be roughly planed and is given its conical shape. The master craftsman uses special planes, some of which are more than 100 years old. He inherited them from older professional colleagues. The stick is planed at least 4 times using planes that increasingly provide greater precision. The master craftsman bends the stick over a Bunsen burner flame to its rough shape in the next working stage. This is done by heating and making repeated checks on a template. Then the head is prepared with a plane, rasp and a template. The head is trimmed to the necessary height depending on how the bow will be used later for a violin, viola, cello or double bass. Mammoth ivory and ebony are glued on top of the head. After being sawn, the head is given more of its shape by rough chiseling and filing. The final plane reduces the future bow to its approximate weight, 60 grams in the case of a violin bow, 80 grams for a cello bow, and about 135 grams for a double bass bow. The head mortise, where the bow hairs are later held, can then be pressed out. There is plenty to do on the frog too. The blank is supplied by the frog maker or is made by hand in the workshops if a special model is required or repair work has to be done. The master bow maker screws on the liner, which is made of silver or gold. Then he shapes the frog to give it the required form. The frog eye is marked out and later drilled. Then the frog can be adapted to match the bow stick. The master craftsman files the frog sides down so that they fit well. Then the frog can be screwed onto the stick. The master craftsman can then prepare the bow hair. The bow is then given its horsehair. It is taken from the tails of prairie horses. The hair is first drawn and then tied together. A bow for a violin has about 160 hairs, a cello bow 200, and a double bass bow 320 hairs. The master craftsman attaches the horse hairs with wedges and in the frog. A small handmade wooden wedge holds the bow hair in the bow head. Finally, the hairs are spread out on the frog with a special wedge. This helps the craftsman to achieve an even spread of hairs across the complete width of the ferrule. A great deal of experience and skill is needed to make the final adjustments to the bow. This working process gives the bow its correct curvature, and checks are made to ensure that the bow is straight when under tension. Finally, the bow is planed down to its final weight. The final treatment can now begin. The bow is given its final fine polish with fine ground sandpaper. Then the surface of the bow is given its lacquer in line with a special old recipe. The craftsman applies a shell lacquer polish. Depending on the properties of the wood, up to 6 coats are applied to the bow. Finally, the bow is polished. The bow is lapped to give it its ideal weight. Different fittings allow special kinds of metal and/or leather lapping to be fitted, and there is a choice of silver or gold fittings too. Later, a leather thumb cushion is placed over part of the lapping. The official stamp shows who made the bow and where it came from. The bow maker carries out the final checks, and a prized master craftsman's bow is ready for its new owner. STEFFEN KUHNLA received a gold, silver and bronze medal for his master craftsman bows for stringed instruments at the International Tchaikovsky competition in Moscow in 2007. This was quite an achievement. But Kuhnla also knows that his good reputation can only be marketed if his goods are top quality. So he exhibits his goods at international trade fairs like the International Music Fair in Frankfurt. Musicians, artists and retailers from all over the world meet here, share their experiences, set new trends and assess bows from the Upper Falkland area.